All right. Welcome back, my regular viewers, listeners, and watchers. And of course, if you happen to be here for the very first time, welcome. Before I go any further, my name is Rahul George, India's premier eye hypnosis life healer coach and your personal guide. So, of course, we are now tuning into the eye hypnosis life coaching journeys. As you probably know, or maybe if this is the first time that you're tuning in, this podcast has been curated specially and specifically for you, a healer and a coach that you're already on your journey. Our intention, my intention, is to literally find the most amazing coaches and healers who are already on the journey. Maybe they began, post COVID, or maybe they've been doing this for as long and as far back as they can remember. Either ways, our intention is, of course, to find some of the best coaches and healers, and not just to find them, but to be able to get to know their stories, so that you as a healer and a coach will get that, not only that dose of inspiration, but also remember that what you're on is a journey, and that you're exactly where you're meant to be. So keeping that in mind, of course, I've got a truly amazing guest in our midst. So let's put our hands together and welcome Dr. Ayswarya Ramachandran. Go right ahead. Ayswarya, you can turn on your camera. Good to see you here. Thank you for making the time for being on our show.
Hello, Rahul. Thank you, High Hypnosis Live Studio, for this wonderful opportunity. I am Dr. Aishwarya Ramachandran here to give you some insights of what I'm going to do. And I'm truly grateful for being here today. Thank you.
So maybe we'll start. And, as I said, our intention here is to keep this truly conversational. And this is an opportunity for people who are out there who may already know you, or maybe this is the first time that they're meeting you. But this podcast is created with the intention that they get to know you better, they get to know your story better. And the intention, of course, is that they be inspired by your life story. So maybe we'll start there, and tell us a little bit about what is it what is it that you do today. If somebody says, okay, so Dr. Ashwarya, what do you do? What do you do today? So go right ahead.
Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Aishwarya Ramachandran. By training, I hold a PhD in clinical research and I've spent over 14 years working in life science and for past 10 years working on clinical research, especially cancer, or a domain or a designation called clinical trial transparency, area.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond the data and numbers, I always noticed something very deep: the emotions that never make it into the medical file. That
Mm.
anxiety before a scan, the fear in a caregiver's eyes, the silence of uncertainty at 2 a.m. All of this made me realize and shape my journey from being a researcher to becoming a life coach and a psycho-onco coach. Today, my mission is simple: to bring clarity, courage, and compassion into the lives of patients, families, and really anyone facing emotional battles, not just cancer patients, anybody and everybody. They need a life coach.
Nice.
Today,
So,
my
mhm.
intention is to introduce my coaching insights, to share few examples of the modalities I use and how each modality can actually be interrelated and how beautifully they blend in to help a cancer patient, their family, or a survivor to navigate through their struggles and make them realize it's possible,
Mm.
heal themselves on an emotional aspect and transform themselves beautifully along with the medical care.
Wow, that's a lot to unpack, and I'm glad that we get this time together, where over the course of this next 45 minutes to an hour at least, I will help our audience to get to know you better, to unpack a lot of what you've said here. Of course, I do have a personal story, so I completely understand what you're talking about, at least at the surface level. And maybe before we get to that, let's travel back in time. For those of us who are especially coaches and healers, we know that there is this concept, there is this idea called the hero's journey. And this, in simple terms, talks about how all of us, especially coaches and healers, we're already tapping into that hero's journey at this point. There's not just one hero's journey, there are several that we go through. So, this is that point where I'd love for you to take us back in time and walk us through Like, how did you get here? Because today you talk a lot about, your not just your educational background, but your passion to be able to work with and help caregivers and beyond. But I'm sure it didn't happen overnight. There would have been a journey, there would have been a process that you went through to get here. So, in your words, if you could take us back to, the beginning, like how did all of this get started?
Thank you, Rahul, for letting me take back to my journey because I believe very true that every struggle or any challenge everybody faces is a guidelines or a pathway to make somebody very strong. So, always believe in that. And probably right from my childhood, um, I hit, puberty very early at age of 9. In that innocent age, while everyone usually goes and plays, I was trying to navigate what is happening to my life, to my
Mm,
body, and trying to fit into the so-called societal expectations. But
mm,
I always felt unfit. I couldn't blend along with my classmates, and I always felt left out. And true, though it never seemed like a big issue as a child, but somewhere deep down all my life, I've probably carried that uh, you know, belief and limiting beliefs, which probably took the weight of my entire life unless I realized it's just on my head. So, early school days, I struggled to make friends because I did not know who to rely, who to trust.
mm,
Because when you are growing, they basically make fun of you, they judge you, and they like, they don't want to give you a space to be seen, heard, or
right.
even come play, all that. And I succumbed to isolation, and probably being alone, I got into reading, and books were my companions because I believe that
Mm,
books never judged. They only gave you gyan, or it's about a story about somebody or something, whatever I'm reading. And I was not a very good student. I'm not but I really had a passion for science. I used to be, proactive in my, school homework and all that, because probably somewhere I felt I have to prove myself to the world
mm,
because of my incapabilities of being unable to fit into the real expectations. So I probably did a lot just to make my
right.
it's okay or like that, and
Mm,
then my parents, but I had a very supportive family, but then, we grew up in a generation where discipline and strictness were a priority over our choices. But parents always let me choose what I wanted to study, what I wanted to pursue,
mm,
and they always were a biggest pillar support, including my grandmother. Okay. So I lived in a very small family and grew up with a lot of cousins, and we all had our own inhibitions of growing up. But then, as soon as I reached 12th and I wanted to see what I want to pursue. Always a challenge, engineering kare, doctor kare, always comes as a puzzle.
right.
And I didn't score well to get a government seat or a, reasonable fair seat.
Mm,
And I didn't want to, take up something I was not passionate. Of course, science and medicine was something always triggered interest in me, but I don't want to spend
mm,
crores of money on a medical seat, which, it takes a lot to earn back, right? So
correct.
I did not like that impression at that perspective. Maybe I had some inner calling and saying, okay, what else can I do? And I found biotech. I'm like, this is equally creative, innovative, new field, and I like doing new things. So why not try that? And I bashed my engineering seat, and I studied in BIT college in Davangere. Engineering days is one interesting aspect is living in hostel. So
Mm,
घर से बाहर, and of course, it comes with a lot of challenges. Yes, you are given pocket money, but you're
mm,
managing your life on your own. You are with your friend circle. There's no one, mom, dad would not tell you come back home at this time and don't
mm,
go here, don't go there. So limits of, a lot of unlimited exploring opportunities.
mm,
Basically, for a girl like me who grew up in a very protective society upbringing, and my closest male associates would be my male cousins.
mm,
So, but beyond that, that was the first time I'm meeting, possible friends. Also, I learned they're actually very nice to be
mm,
friends. You don't have to necessarily have a bad experience because, yeah, you're a daughter to your parents. They are overprotective. But when you see the real world, you see, oh, they are nicer people too. They
mm,
just accept you as your friend. They don't actually. I feel the guy friends they don't judge you, so they take you as a buddy, and I think they are my like even now they are my friends. I
Mm.
can still talk to anything to them, and that's something I learned, how to explore people, how to
Right.
relate to people actually. And basically, the understanding the word of friendship began when you are exploring outside your comfort zone, right? And eventually, I completed my engineering. And again, I was very playful in the first year. So the consequence, I had to skip one entire year. So I took 5 years to complete my engineering.
Wow.
At that point, I thought that's the end of my career because, itna
Mm.
padna hai, ye wo. But I think that failure triggered that curiosity and that motivation in me. And from the next semester, I aced up the game. And I scored everything above first class. And I was very dedicated. I was like, I have to do this. So again, your failures teach you lessons. That's what I
Mm.
took it from that. And as soon as I finished my engineering, I did have a brief experience to work as an intern, but I was aiming to do my master's. While I was trying US, it didn't work well in my
Mhm.
favor, so Australia popped up. And it was much easier to get an admission. And I spent almost close to 3 years in Australia from 2009. 2011, I came back. And that was another wonderful experience. I did my master's there. And what happened while doing my master's, I understood how much I love the subject actually. You go more in depth, and I realized that's where my passion truly lies. And any of my master's friends, who have studied, probably some of my friends in engineering always knew that I was always interested in starting something on my own. Even though I
Mm.
do not know what to do, but I've always had this curiosity to start something on my own. Like probably I never liked the aspect of, probably I love being a leader, and that leadership thing was always aspiring me to start something on my
Mm.
own. And probably I'm not someone who can, uh, you know, work under people who have a lot of rules and regulations, and that probably limited my beliefs in how I can work in a
Mm.
corporate world. But truth and life is so different. I had a wonderful corporate experience, by the way. I still cherish my experience in the corporate industry. So
Mm.
once I went to doing my masters, actually, my one of my professors, they couldn't find the spark of researcher in me. So they tried to tell me I'm not fit for research.
Mm.
So I thought that is a golden word. And at the age of 2021, when you're exploring life and you think research is your cup of tea, and they say not. So I'm like, okay, I will not do. I had another professor who's like, complete. I'll give you an assignment, you do, and I'll see how it goes. I'm like, wow. And one door opens, another one door closes, the other one immediately
Yeah,
opened, and
true.
I enjoyed that journey. I completed my master's and I came back to India because I believe that once I have a professional degree, I want to
Mm.
start a professional job. And I was like, all my master's friends probably they could find a respective partner or they could find an option to settle down in Australia itself. Most of them have done that, but I couldn't find myself staying there beyond my education. And of course, I was turning 25, 26. And the parents' stories after
Mm.
that. Get married, get married, get married, wala story. So I came back to India. So 2011, August, I came back. And, before my parents could say we're going to look for guys,
Mm.
I'm like, I just want to look for a job. I've studied so much. I want to earn,
Right.
at least little at least. So just gradually going through a profile, I just applied for a hospital to see what they say. And by God's grace, it clicked. And I was working with
Wow.
Narayana Hridayalaya Hospital, this institute called Thrombosis Research Institute that catered for biomarkers for cardiovascular disease, basically thrombosis. And I loved it. I'm like, I'm working in
Mm.
a hospital, very famous hospital. And I took that as a learning opportunity. They're paying me to learn. I was not thinking that
Nice.
I'm getting paid to get served. I'm like, I'm paying to get to learn. So
Mm.
that is my beginning of a professional job. I think in way 2020, 2011, hospital. When I used to walk from the entrance to my building and go for lunch or go on for my walks, I always used to see a lot of pain, a lot
Mm.
of um, uncertainty in patients' eyes, especially because cardio, you see they're being rushed because of a golden hour or emergency. The entire families are so worried. The patient is worried. The doctors are stressed that they have to save the life.
Mm.
And that was like, what can I do there? What can I help? How can I help?
Mm. Mm.
All those used to be my trigger points. But as a researcher, all I can at that point contribute is how
Right.
I can make their, vitro biomarkers, what can we do better to get a better treatment. So
Mm,
that's what
mm,
researchers do. They always try to see what better they can do. So I had a wonderful chance. I had a wonderful team. We were all young, and our head coach, head of the department was very chilled out person. He's Dr. Rajikant, and he gave us an opportunity and full freedom to explore how we can bring research into
mm,
insights, and he gave us a lot of scope to grow. But being in a working in a hospital environment, you don't, even though research confines to set hours, when you're in an explorative age, time is never bound. So you end up staying for longer hours and
mm,
stay, and then traveling 2 hours to reach and 2 hours to get back in a city like Bangalore is no joke. And then my parents are like, you're not having time to meet the guys. Also, you don't have time to for yourself as well. You're so busy even on weekends. So let's can you find a job where you're on a desk, and and still see guys. So I think about a year or so, and I worked. I could reach that exhaustion stage, like, it was not manageable. Probably if I lived closer to the hospital, I would have still been working there even now.
mm.
I would have loved to do that
Right,
job. But then, when your parents are saying so much, and of course, I'm that age where I should be possibly, looking for a next stage in my life. I listened to them. I was like, yeah, let me find a desktop based job. And the comedy part is the office is just 6 kilometers from my job, but I have to travel 1 hour to reach there because it was a very busy
right,
road.
right.
I could actually walk and reach faster than
Mm,
taking, transport. But that job was in a company called D2L Pharma, scoping for key opinion leaders. We need key opinion leaders when the entire concept of clinical research or research, formulates. We need a team
mm,
who could help, formulate everything. So we source that for cardio or any diseases for that matter. So I liked the job. It was curious, but then I couldn't comment too much because marriage cards came in. Wedding bells rang soon, and I met my partner, and we thought, okay, this is it, and I need to get married. So 2013, I got married and moved to Chennai. So when I came to Chennai, again, another incident happened is my late father-in-law was undergoing abscess with bad liver condition. It was not cirrhosis, but unidentified situation actually. And doctors also couldn't figure out what was going wrong, but his health was deteriorating and we lost him very soon. And again, a family situation where how I can be empathetic at the situation, I played a real role. I was a quiet daughter-in-law trying to adapt to a new family, but instead of me adapting, I mean, me getting an opportunity to adapt, I was like, okay, let me support the family right now.
right.
So that's when the inner responsibility of me
Mm,
being a caretaker or being available for the family is already there in my life journey. And because I was being available for them during that in their tough times, my husband and my mother-in-law now they let me do whatever I want without. It's not that I need a permission, but they understand that I come from a place of support rather than a place of demands. And then in a year's time, again, I was divinely blessed to get an opportunity with Icon Global Strategy Solutions and to support my client Merck, or now they call us MSD. It's a wonderful opportunity. If I get a chance, I would still like to go and work with them
mm,
because I loved how, in the simple role I was playing also,
mm,
it is helping somebody to hope for a better tomorrow as we are dealing with, uh, you know, registering clinical trials of,
mm,
our team used to post results, and that content was to give some information to people who are going through a need of a clinical research for their
mm,
health issue. I loved the job because this one role basically made me communicate with many people for the job requirement, and I love talking, and I learned a lot in the job, and including people management and how to handle crisis, how do you solve issues, and that actually triggered my mindset to pursue PhD. So during the journey, my manager then was like, you have the knack to know something, then pursue.
mm,
Because PhD will give you a lot more clarity and depth of the subject, and it'll always be handy. With the encouragement from them and my client encouraging me, I was like, what better opportunity I'm going to just let's grab it. So I pursued my PhD in an institute called Texila American University. It's an online opportunity for somebody to pursue PhD along with their full-time career. So you don't have to compromise on your job or leave your
right.
job for doing a PhD. Imagine full-time PhD, full-time job. How it should be.
Mm,
You work only for 8 hours, and you know how to manage time. It's manageable. Yes, PhD comes with a whole lot of challenges. It's not easy. It's not an easy roadmap. But I think But my excitement is like my simple idea. If I'm bringing out an idea and I'm able to find a research, answer my research questions,
Mm,
I'm opening a lot of possibilities of some solution, right? So, and I loved how engaging my PhD was, how much I could read, a lot of papers I read. I learned a lot of writing styles. Everything I learned, I
mm,
enjoyed it.
mm,
That's the aspect of it. Even though I was very busy, I didn't know when weekend was there, when weekday was there. I still went on vacations. I still was
mm,
there in every marriage function in the family. I didn't miss anything, but I also knew how to prioritize my work and my PhD. So basically, I used to wake up at 4 in the morning and then give time to reading, and at least my work used to start at 9, so I need to be ready for the cab to come. By 7:30, 7:45. So, and the people from cab were so understanding. They know I'm going through a lot. I'm doing a lot. They'll just wait for 2 minutes for me, extra, so that I can come and
right,
board the cab at a point.
right.
But from 2018, 2019, my work was gift. I wanted to give time to the US team. So we had a leverage of working from home, not as
Mm,
full time, but I can choose my dates.
right,
So that also worked well because I was getting a chance to resolve a problem, talking to the team to resolve a problem rather than only email via email. I loved it. As the years moved on, I earned a promotion too. The job gave me, yeah, it gave me money, but it gave me a lot of confidence. I understood. I love the subject. I love my work. I used to appreciate small wins in that whatever I used to do. I used to share it with people, so they knew how much I actually loved my job. Yeah, as time came, we came to know that we our team was getting disbanded, other reasons, and then that's what triggered, like, what next? And at the same time, I was completing my PhD last minute submissions and assigning myself a viva. I actually originally wanted to take a break, a 1 month break, so I can finish my viva
mm,
completely confidently, and then take forward what I want to do next. But the news came at the same time, and that 1 week was a
mm,
little chaotic. Like, what am I going to do next? Where's the next paycheck is going to come? And how I'm going to manage my PhD? Because everything. But then, always believe that divine will always give you an answer for if you have a good intention. And the day I came to know the news, the next day itself, I posted on LinkedIn, I need a job. Please, whoever needs me, this is my profile. I'm almost completing my PhD. I'm looking forward for next
right,
opportunity. I posted. I was like, I don't want to wait for another letter from anybody. Just go ahead and post it because I want to start. I want to, I
correct.
need to find the next. But then the next day, very, organically, happened to. I was never, someone who used to use Instagram very frequently.
Mm,
Very recently, I started using Instagram, maybe less
mm,
than a year. Though I had a profile, I rarely knew what to use it for. I did not know how to even post things
right.
on that. I Whatever used to come on Facebook used to come here. That's all. That's the maximum I used to do, and that's the interaction I used to have on Instagram. I'm talking about 2024. In that 2024. And while was scrolling through an Insta ad, I came to know about my mentor, Pooja Puneet, and I had was resonating. If you have all these skills that are helpful, you like to talk to people, you like to resolve people's problems, then there's an opportunity for you to become a coach, and it's an entrepreneurial journey. I was like, wow, why? In fact, I saw that and I sent that ad to a friend of mine to just see what is it for her. I was not even intending to join also. I was like, oh, I saw something like this, and she's a.
Mm,
I think I thought she would be a more apt person for this, but then I was like, okay, why can't I try? Shouldn't I try?
nice.
It was not too expensive, 99 rupees. Clicked and I registered. And on the day when I interacted with her on the master class, the 10 minutes I realized this is my calling. It is my calling.
Nice.
When one door closed, immediately something is opening up for me. I
Mm,
didn't even wait to get an email from somebody from LinkedIn saying I have an opportunity or not. This came. I was like, I asked myself, shall I dive into it? And I only got, my heart was beating very fast. I was like, this is exactly why I came to this experience of completing my corporate job and starting this. So this was
right.
exactly immediately.
Beautiful.
Then I went to the next level of interaction with them, Pooja Puneet's team, and then I finished my coaching certification in March. And at that time, everybody was almost taking a similar topic of inner child healing or emotional wellness, or you know the topics which you can think you can help people. Okay,
Mm,
And I was like, everyone's doing the same. What do I do different?
Mm,
Where do I, how do I pitch myself different? Everyone
correct.
is saying the same thing. How will I be able to attract clients? And then I was like, again, divine blessing. I saw an ad for a psycho-onco coach. I was like, bulba moment now, and I was like, see how God sends these ads to me. I don't know how Instagram understands me, but exactly, I got an opportunity where if you have a oncology experience, you can, get your skills to, coaching. And again, I immediately filled that form and I said, yes, let me see what this is all about. So when I spoke to Dr. Dhirendra Gautam, he's my psycho-onco mentor. I'm like, at the moment I was talking to him, my inner voice, like, this is for you. I heard that
Nice.
inner voice. And that day was like, the most cherished day of my life. And I was like,
Amazing.
I found my niche finally, and learning the entire course because I'm already a life coach. I'm able to understand where all, what all. Slowly, gradually felt that this where just life coaching and communication may not help.
Mm,
So what all tools I can learn? So I registered myself for Akashi recording, I registered myself for EFT. I did not know how because I'm so used to having a busy schedule. I couldn't sit quiet.
right.
And I'm like, okay, I'll do this, I'll do that. And from April, my schedules were jam packed. I'm like,
Mm,
somebody who's supposed to be, who's not having a professional job, but my schedule is full. Okay,
mm,
Monday and Sunday, I have a full schedule. I'm like, wow, this is beautiful. And I started my journey, with learning all of that. And
mm,
today I'm so happy that I'm able to understand things from very different perspective. And emotional freedom technique, the tool that I use is so simple, profound, and very effective. And in psycho-oncology, we use reframing of NLP techniques tools.
mm, mm,
I'll be talking about it very soon, but we use all of that. And every time I'm trying to understand how wonderful each tool is, today I realize how I can blend all of them into one
right.
and how each of them has its own importance and how if a cancer patient or a cancer family or anybody who has one slightest doubt in their life to somebody I believe who's very strong also in life, they
Mm,
also need a coach. Like even though I'm targeting cancer patients and families and cancer survivors as a prior target audience, I see myself that a young doctor, nurse, surgeon,
right.
even a CEO of a doctor, they also need a coach because their mind is all about how can I help a patient recover,
Correct.
right? So when
Correct.
they are already so occupied in the mind, life coach can always help. So that's where I come. So this is all about my journey from
Amazing.
my childhood till where I am right now.
Beautiful. I love it. It's like just listening to you and your life story that you've literally we've been on your shoulder, like watching the world through your eyes. So this really reminds me of and it affirms why this podcast exists because you've so beautifully literally walked us through the last so many years of your life and your motivations, the ups, the downs, a lot of realizations that you've had along the way. That's one of the reasons why we make it a point, and I make it a point to take time with this process, because I'm sure for those people who are watching you live right now, and of course for people who watch this later as a recording, just listening to you will remind them, whether they are very similar to you from a research background or they just they've had their life's journey, just listening to you and with the passion and with the enthusiasm with which you shared your story, I'm sure it's going to move the needle for them and tell them about that. It doesn't matter where you began or what you were told you can or cannot do, but it's this moment when you pause and you reflect back and notice, as and this is something that many decades ago I had created this company called Join the Dots, a little realizing that a few years later that there was this famous I think it was Harvard or Stanford, probably Stanford speech where Steve Jobs talks about connecting the dots, just listening to your story and how you yourself are noticing that everything lined up and sort of in reverse order, like you said, when one door closed you literally had a whole slew of windows open to you. And especially as you've said, in the last 1 year there's a lot of integration that you've been doing, and you have a very unique perspective on, literally, as they say, life and death, because even when we, especially as healers and coaches, there's always that frustration. There's always that curiosity of what is my niche? What is my niche? Right. And it's beautiful how your experiences have kind of shaped your understanding of what you're meant to do. And we always talk about this, right? Like when you, can't remember the exact phrase, but basically it's like two things in life. One is when you born, the other is when you realize your purpose. And it sounds like you've already tapped into the second one as well. And as you continue to go out into the world and help people who are already in that mindset of being a caregiver, whether it's the doctor, whether it's the nurse, whether it is people who are dealing with the illness, and I'm talking here specifically cancer. You talked about being a psycho onco coach. I think that's the expression you use, right? So it really covers a lot, and we're just about at the halfway mark. But I'll say this right away that you've tapped into something very, very powerful and very, it literally, is life giving, because what you're doing at this point, I don't know how many people are doing it, but my prayer is that more people, tap into this, and that, they are also inspired by your story. So at this stage, let's also kind of double click on a couple of things, because as I said, this podcast is made for people who are healers and coaches. Maybe they've just started, let's say the last 3 to 6 months, or maybe, a lot of them are post COVID, where they had that realization that, okay, doesn't matter what my life was before COVID, but now I've understood that I need to heal, and also that this healing that I have received, I can share with the world. Right. So typically, these are our people. This is my audience. And that's, in that sense, we share a lot in common. So in this context, before we get into maybe the tactics or whatever that you have explored, maybe we'll start with, tell us a little bit more in detail, Aishwarya. Like, so when when you run your programs today, right? What are those programs and how do they function? Reason being, of course, one is so that when someone who's watching this can share this, whether it's a clip of this or whether it's the podcast, where they are telling people that, hey, this is what Dr. Aishwarya does, and maybe this will come and, be of use to you. So share at one point, like in one sense, share what it is that you do currently, maybe, programs that you're running, and then we'll get into some of the tactical uh,
Hmm.
uh, you know aspects, because as coaches and healers, there are always these burning questions that we have, whether it is waking up early or not being able to sleep and being sort of like plagued, if I can use that expression, of, okay, what will my niche be, or how do I get more people to experience the magic that I have received. So before we get to that, maybe if you can just start with telling us a little bit about the programs that you're currently running.
I'm so honored and humbled to inform that my brand's name is Saukyam. And if you are Indian origin, that is Tamil, if you know the language Tamil, and if you're very familiar with the language Sanskrit, Tamil, in Tamil, it's a sacred greeting. It means, are you well? And I
Mm,
care for your being. It literally means that, Saukyam.
wow.
And when somebody responds, they say, we are Saukyama, and they respond as Saukyam. So
Nice.
it basically connects heart to heart. And one of the reasons why, when we say that, you'll feel a innate connection with the other person
Mm,
without any other words or phrase that adds meaning to it. So in Tamil, it means a sacred greeting, and in Sanskrit, we know it's all about the wholeness, the wellness, the completeness.
nice.
So if you look
Just to
at
pause you
life,
here, can you spell it out for us? Because for people who happen to be listening to this, even if they're not
I
watching the video, how do you spell
spell
it?
it as I spell it as Soukhya.
Wow. Okay.
So that's why it's Saukyam. And why I chose this brand when I was doing life coaching, every time I just realized that all of the thinking, all of the issues, everything that somebody faces, you name the situation,
Mm,
everything comes from the mind. It all comes in the mind. And there could be some limiting beliefs that also
mm,
rises in the mind. For example, in a childhood, during a childhood, somebody said, remarked a comment, and it could have been just for a joke, but your
correct.
heart, your soul took it as a hurt.
Right.
You have not resolved that by organic. If somebody did not apologize to you, or you did not feel the ease of not being burdened about that word, there's
Mm,
a possibility that we carried inner healing and inner child healing and
mm,
guided about it throughout our life.
mm,
Everyone realizes it because the one who mentions the word just mentions something that hurts you, they don't realize it. And you don't realize it because your life is going on. But there'll be a time in your life where it hits you very hard when you're going through some struggling phase. Okay, let's give an example. Imagine, I didn't do well in my, schooling. And my teacher said, you're not good enough. You're not scoring the marks. So what? I will think I'm never good enough. So because all in the teachers want is the marks. They want the grades. They don't want to know if the child is learning. But when I was trying to read books, when I was reading books, I'm like, I know everything. Why my teacher is saying
mm,
I'm getting 4 marks? Maybe at the time of the exam, I was nervous. I forgot
mm,
the answer. Must have not understood the question right. Or I must have perceived the question differently. Or I could have done so many things why, I could have not scored good marks. Instead of teacher, oh, can I know where you went wrong? Can we work on your weaknesses? Can you, let's see if you can improve? It did happen in my school though, but I'm just trying to give an example. It was a chance for you when teacher came and told you, let's see where you can improve, and they help you out. And when you score, they appreciate you solve that issue. But sometimes, in the course of life, because a teacher is doing her duty, her responsibility, she must have just said in a fluke of a conversation without thinking how a child might be taking it. And the child would have done wonders in other subject, or they would have done beautiful. They must be multi-talented in so many other aspects.
mm.
But that one word of hurt can always put you down, unless and you break it out of your system.
Sure, sure.
You realize you have the potential. That also helps. If you
Mm,
don't realize your potential, but you are still stuck in that thought, it's going to take you for life to come out of it. So in this scenario, if I'm a life coach today and I'm a life coach today, so I am in a situation, I'm an evolved person now, emotionally mature also, and every problem I faced, I've understood why that problem I faced, what I've
mm,
done, how I can cope up from it. And just because I'm a life coach doesn't mean life doesn't happen. Life always happens.
mm,
So my perception of everything has changed completely. Anything that comes, I'm like, okay, let it come, and I know how
mm,
to deal with it. And there's another interesting aspect to bring is, everybody, when you seem to be having an idea in life, or when you seem to do well compared to their perception of you, immediately they start feeling jealous or they try to put you down. This constantly happens with many people.
mm,
They don't realize it. But I used to have that intuition way in the beginning. I don't know why, how. Maybe
mm,
God gave me that intuition. I exactly know what that person is appreciating for. I'll exactly know should I go talk to that person. So I used
mm,
to draw boundaries very largely, and it doesn't matter to me if I'm going to meet them next. I never mattered. It never mattered to me.
mm,
All I mattered was if my self, respect and self worth is not seen in a relationship, any relationship, name it. I will not take extra effort to make things work with them because I believe I have to, protect myself. I think this came way too young, but I did not know that this is the concept behind it. But I tried to follow that. So if you look at a life coaching perception, your limiting beliefs, your resistance, and even the simplest of doubt. If somebody says, when somebody asks you how are you, the basic answer will be I'm doing good. But if you're thinking to answer that also, should I be honest with that person? Is the person going to judge
mm,
me? The judgment thinking will comes first before you want to be yourself. So I think I've mostly been myself unless until I'm navigating in a struggle. And when I'm navigating in a struggle and somebody asks me how I'm doing, I'll say I'm not doing well. Give me some time. I'm working on something. I have some issues. I need some space. I clearly tell it loudly because I don't want my energy to, reach out to them in a negative manner because I'm in a negative frame of mind. It has happened in the past, even a couple of years back. But I realized that the other person may not understand what you're trying to say.
mm,
I've got arrogance. I'm ignoring that person. I never used to care that because I was working for myself.
mm,
Because everybody, when they go through a problem, either they will succumb to it, they'll not know how to express it out, they'll not know how to help themselves out, and they will suppress everything, keep it within themselves, and still say life is not happening. They this is what they will say. But just imagine that same person, if they have an option for help, if they can go to somebody who's non-judging, and if they can work things out, their life is so beautiful. They don't realize it
mm,
because of the peer pressure, of the judgment that what other people will perceive. They'll be excellent to give you advice. Okay, but when
Mm.
it comes to their own life, they won't follow anything that they are telling others. So this is always a possibility. I never tried doing that because I felt it's of no use. And before even life coaching happened, and in my life, if somebody came out to me and say, I want to share something with you, I'll ensure there's strict confidentiality between that person, and always maintain loyalty. And I understand because they're coming to me because they knew that I can listen, or at least I can help them
Mm.
to handle the situation. So when I used to do that, I realized that they are coming up and telling me the deepest, darkest secrets they never told anybody. They're having that comfort with me. So that means I'm giving them the liberty to be themselves.
Mm.
So when these things, scenarios happen in my life, and when I'm trying to resonate with life coaching, I'm like, I think I started all this way beyond knowing the term life coaching. It's just I
Mm.
never knew it. I could monetize it. That I was not knowing. But coming to you with examples, with why, where I'm currently, and coming to your question, Saukyam is my brand where I've launched myself as a life coach as soon as I completed my coaching certification. And what I do currently right now is I am completing all my advanced courses with a couple of mentors, and I'm looking forward to complete them. And I have already coming on social media very often. So I have acquired a couple of clients, and they basically testimonial clients. I'm trying to see how I can use my skills to help them navigate their inner battles. So a couple of them have come, and few of them have found transformation, and they're very happy. I've seen smiles in their life. I've seen them
Mm.
progress. I've seen, like, they came to me a problem, and I see the problem solving, and they are able to outcome their blockages, which they felt was blockages. So I see all of this happening. So I have an inner peace that, okay, मैंने जो किया सही जा रहा है, and it's like,
Mm.
I'm able to reach the right intention is able to be reached. And I always tell anybody who comes to me, like, you are coming to me. I'm not going to give you advice. I'm not someone who's going to tell you, do this, do this, do this. I'm just telling, I have done this for myself. It has worked for
Mm.
me. Can you rethink? Can you create a new story? Can you come out with your own thing? That's what coaches does. No, we're not someone who's going to give you only lecture. We'll make the other person think what is good for them, what is best
Mm.
for them, what they can do to transform their lives. That's how they feel empowered end of the day, right? So I am already an emotional empowerment coach, if you want to label it with the tag. Anyone who's going through anything in the battles, and I love talking, if you noticed. So I address a lot of, I have my own unfiltered life stories, where this is a platform for my batchmates of coaches to come and share their life stories. And it's
Mm.
not prepared. They come with a topic. I just have one interaction on a WhatsApp, like, this is a topic. I'm giving you about 15-20 minutes to talk. You can bring your script, you can bring your ideas, and you and the topic are the hero and heroine of the day. I just
Mm.
make it a conversational style so that it gets interesting. And then, I've seen that they're happy, their ideas are coming out, their own struggles are coming out. So people will be able to resonate
Mm.
much easier with why life coaches is required. And I've always also, done, going to talk to people. I've spoken, I had a chance to go and address my university where I did my PhD on online webinar to talk about what I am pursuing next.
Mm.
So, it was well received, and also had a good opportunity to collaborate on an international scale. But I told them I'm in my advanced level. Let me complete all my certifications and then get back to, because I'll have the whole package to offer. So it's much easier for me to, collaborate with you further. So
Mm.
I am right now, um, you know, looking forward to a couple of keynote speeches. I will be conducting my masterclass very soon, the official one. I have masterclass for different programs, one for emotional wellness, one for psycho-onco. But if I find an audience, like for psycho-onco, I will take up a psycho-onco. For finding general audience, then I can take the emotional, because everything matters in this world. So I have, things prepared for any kind of audience that comes. Basically, during uncertain times, everybody faces this panic, anxiety,
Mm.
panic when somebody is unwell in the family. It didn't have to be cancer, it could be any illness. So, how do you stay emotionally strong? How do you claim your emotions during that time? How do you stay emotionally stable at uncertain times? I know it's easier to say and coach, but if you're actually calmer, it basically helps you go through that hospital journey, the entire medical journey, much more better, and you're actually available to support your family wholeheartedly when you
Mm.
are emotionally empowered. And coming to this, why everybody should get coached to emotionally empowered during uncertain times. When they are already empowered in an uncertain times, anything that comes in their life, it need not be health issue. Anything they're struggling, they can always resonate back. They need not have to do an exclusive course just because they're overthinking, or just because they are going through, should I choose this, should I choose that. Even for simplest of questions, if they are able to come and get themselves coached during uncertain times, and even certain times, it might makes it much easier. So this is will be for everybody. I should be, depending, I'm going to put ads very soon, posters and ads, and depending on who fills the sheet and how many people are able
Mm,
to join and register myself, based on that I will conduct my master class. I'm aiming to somewhere between next September 2021, because, I'll give some time for people to come and register. And during the master class, I'll be able to offer them what course curriculum I'm providing, and how it can benefit them, what are the outfits
mm,
or outcome when they join on my program, and, of course, what fees they have to pay, and, how the
mm,
course is going to be structured. Like every beginners, I would also love to do one to one. But if it's a group of people who belong to a same group friends, and I can do one to many, and then have a specific one to one when it comes to that problem solving issues.
right.
So, try to see where all I can help people in simple and small ways. And when it comes to cancer patient, of course, it's going to be one to one, unless until I'm giving a very common introducing about psycho onco, or some technique where it is okay to share with everybody. I might do a comment session, but consultation will be exclusively one to one, because cancer patients will not come and openly tell what their problems are. So you have to
Mm,
literally be available to them, make sure that they are comfortable to open their mind and their heart to you. Because, of course, the word you hear cancer, you share your personal story too, but it always comes a lot of fear, guilt,
mm,
shame, identity loss issues would be
mm,
there. They don't know what diagnosis is going to happen. That fear of diagnosis report itself is very scary.
mm,
Because, see, for any other disease, very simple, like even diabetes or other disease, a simple blood report can give you an answer. But for cancer, it's not like that, right? You have to go through a lot of screening, and you have to check a lot of things. So by the time you reach there, that anxiety itself will create them even more stress than if they have actual cancer. So it is not easy to be understood. So imagine somebody has, even the cytos or symptoms, and they want to get them into screening in the early stage. If they are coached with the right mindset, if their mind is reframed, if the mindset is shifted, and if they're able to go in a calm and composed manner, their the way they deal with the situation will be much better perceived than
mm.
they go without having a coaching experience.
Correct.
I am going to share a couple of examples when we talk about modalities, and what framework I use, and I'm going to talk about a couple of things. We'll take it there. But these will be my courses I'm going to take forward. I love creating these courses. It gives me a lot of curiosity and creativity
Mm,
side. In fact, right now, if you ask me, I have a program for men too. Because I also believe that women also have problems, and there are a lot of opportunities for them to come and speak up. But for
mm,
men, very rarely, I mean, there are programs for men to come and talk.
mm,
But for men, don't know that there's an option available. Not many people are aware. So I have a lot of inquiries for men who wants to come and join me, and I've told them, give me time until October. I need to fix my schedule. So, I will be engaging them in a clarity call to see how I can help them. There are a couple of them who have asked me, and being busy, I don't want to promise a time and not be available, because life coach, the first thing is you're supposed to be available. So I want to make sure I have the time for them. So I see men also reaching. So if men are hesitating what life coach will do, what she's going to do with me, we have specific programs. I can do one to one, one to many. Somebody who's navigating a job loss, and I can totally resonate what they must be going through. I just faced one. No, I'm not saying everyone should become a coach, but they can always find another opportunity. But between losing the job and finding an opportunity, they might be very anxious. They must be going through a lot of stress, because men are always perceived as a provider, and they come with a lot of burden of shoulders and responsibilities. And if there's no source of income that is generated in the family, they are highly pressurized and highly stressed. So even for them, I have coaching programs specifically designed for them. For women any age, Could be a child, could be a teenager, could be a young adult trying to navigate which career is it, what she should do. With young couples trying to find relationship situation. Married couples are going through relationship issues. They can come as a couple to me, or they can come individual coaching too. See, life coaching can be applied anywhere, everywhere. And
Mm,
me having a corporate industry experience, I can always reach out to corporates, and I can see if I can collaborate with them, and have sessions, because corporate companies, they have insurance teamed up, bank people teamed up, but they don't have anything called life coaching teamed up, because
mm,
mental awareness, mental illness is a huge thing that everybody underestimates.
mm,
Imagine if an entire team is empowered, they are very strong in their belief system, they are able to navigate their inner battles, how well they can perform as a team, and to a company, and be it any company, IT, banking, any sector. Because all of us are humans, and we all come from different perceptions. So I'm
mm,
just trying to say the rainbow of varieties where a life coach can go.
mm.
Even though my niche is cancer patients, and will be my priority, I'm just trying to say where all, as a life coach, I can actually move. uh you know I can empower teachers who are already doing their wonderful job. In case they are empowered, imagine what influence they'll have on their students. And student and teacher in school, they will come from different situations from home, but still teachers do a wonderful job. Same thing, doctor, name it, the profession, they all come from that thing. Even engineer, name it, they come from a struggle, home with a lot of things happening. So everybody, if they are able to be coached and able to help themselves navigate through themselves itself, and if I
Mm.
can help them, India, if we target India and then global, every country can be like Finland, where happiness quotient is the largest. It's all in the mindset, all in the perception. That's why I was targeting mind, as it's all over there. So I think I answered your question pretty well.
I have one question now before we move into the final segment, which is, and I'm saying this also because, like you said, you started your coaching journey specifically for, from what I understand, for about the last 1 year. People have different philosophies, right? People talk about, have one niche, focus on one niche. While what you've been sharing now, as you said, you can work with a lot of people, a lot of groups. So what's your personal philosophy at this point? Of course, I'm sure in a couple of years when we meet again and I ask you the question, I'm sure you'll have probably a different response, or maybe the same. We'll know in time. But for now, if I was to say,
Actually,
so
have this answer
go
as
ahead.
my one of my closing statement.
Okay.
But to just answer you right now, I believe everyone needs a life coach.
Mm,
Be the name the profession, they need a life coach. My niche is psycho onco, because I could align myself with what expertise I bring along to the pain and the struggle what cancer patients can go through. So I could merge the concept, and I now want to be a psycho onco coach as my
mm,
specific niche. Being a psycho onco coach, yes, you say I'm going to already have a lot of patients. How am I going to handle everybody else? It's all again the perception. For example, a psycho-onco quote a patient under cancer, or the families of cancer survivors, they might want to have the entire transformation done. So I might have to give a longer time for them. Meanwhile, if somebody else wants to have another possibility of their empowerment, emotional
mm,
empowered, they want to feel transformed, you all can always collaborate with me. You can always reach out to me. Because I think the larger you reach out, the more people you reach out, you'll have a bigger community. And if, once example, I gain a lot of experience in 1 or 2 years of handling people, I can always, start my own coaching opportunity where people can come learn under me, and I can make more people empowered and able to do what they want to do, where they want to coach. Because life coaching right now, I see, is a huge demand. And even though every batch we are a lot of people who are getting graduated as a life coach, still you need a lot of life coaches still.
mm,
Because like you said, imagine if I'm handling 10 cancer patients for a month, that means in a week I can give 2 hours for one patient. Because cancer patient, you cannot give 1 hour and say I'm done. In 1 hour, nothing much happens. So if I want to give 2 hours, and I'm work for a 8 hour schedule, or okay, 6 hour schedule. So if I'm giving 2 hours, then I can only handle 4 to 5 patients in a day. 4 to 5 clients in a day. So in a month, I can only target this much in numbers because I don't want to overwhelm myself because I want to be available for every patient. So imagine I have a pool of 100 patients who are already who wants to get coached. And if I
Mm.
have a team who's going to help, you know,
Mhm.
who can learn the expertise from me and they can coach, then we can target to help more cancer patients or more people at the same time. So this is the way a community grows. So I am also looking forward for an opportunity to grow, for me to gain
Mm.
experience. And once I've reached that mark where I think my expertise can be taught and I can get my own community of people who can be life coaches or psycho coaches or coaches for any health issues, because it's a concept the same, but how you navigate it through, how do you integrate it, it's all it all matters. So I'm looking for future aspirations. But like you said, I'm just trying to show a rainbow of opportunities where even though something is my niche and somebody always will say who are even like you been coaching all these years, follow only one niche because it's already too difficult to do everything. I'm just trying to share here to anyone who's listening, possible they're thinking if they want to be a life coach, what all they can do, where all they can, all applications you can have, which all what all niches you can have. Beyond this, when I'm going to talk about modalities, you can use specific modalities also as a part of your coaching expertise and focus only on that, because every modality has its own impact to somebody. And if it's going to help somebody to go through their inner child healing, release their emotions, reframe their thinking. Imagine you have set of employees in a company, and all of them are already transformed, they are emotionally mature. Like I said, the company can do wonders. If somebody who's losing their job, they are coached, they look at another opportunity. Okay, one again, like when I said one door closed, another open, it can happen very soon for them. They don't have to
Right.
go through that struggle of sitting quiet and doing nothing. So all of that. See, we can target anybody in this. So my answer basically is for somebody who's listening and they see what life coach can potentially bring them to bring on a table for them. I just want to narrate that you can do anything you want, and you can still have an opportunity to in relationship coach, you have parenting coach, you have relationship like a couple coach or a coach for some. I mean, a lot of people go to lawyers, they have a different way of counseling. But imagine they have a coach. Probably they can
Mm.
make much better decisions about their personal life before they could reach out to a court for, in case if the couple have to split for reasons, they can split when they're emotionally empowered rather than from a emotional, like from
Right.
point or something they couldn't get a chance to communicate over. Rather than regret, they can always work things out. So coaching can go into every aspect. Like you can tell me how I can coach a surgeon. A surgeon is also a human. He has
Mm.
worked hard, he's achieved his degree, he's achieved his expertise with a lot of his own challenges. And today, if especially any surgeon, a surgeon, patients look up to them as a god, a chance
Mm.
for them to relive their life. So in that perception, even though, I mean, always, I think I've always seen surgeons are very calm and composed people, but you never know what a surgeon is going through in the mind. We can't read. So if a surgeon, can be said that you're doing wonderful, it's okay, a life and that is uncertain, but you're doing a wonderful job, do you
Mm.
have a limit? Can we reframe your mind? Can you work on your inner thoughts? And when you address these questions, they might have somewhere where they may need to work on. So as a coach, I can provide that support. Because
Mm.
if you are able to save many lives and there's some limiting beliefs that's stopping you, let's work on that. You don't have to do an entire program. You can work on a limiting belief also, one single.
Mm. Sure.
So that's what I'm trying to give you an example, like why I want to reach out to that aspect. And if I'm talking about corporate industry, I think this entire year, or I think few years, every now and then we keep hearing that the massive layoffs, the companies are laying off
Mm.
people. There are
Mm.
people they don't have a job. And just imagine a family with a lot of EMIs to fill. There are students, the children education, and these days it's not it's equally expensive. And some there are very few families where in a lot of families where women and work too, they contribute, but there are some families where only the men contribute, so they struggle basically. So, if they come through coaching, they can empower, if they learn how to life coach, they can get these concepts, they can find a career here. Very simple, right? Even women, I always believe they're potentially talented, but sometimes because of a marital pressure or the requirement in their family, they try to always sacrifice. I'm not saying men don't, even men sacrifice. Everyone sacrifices, but the sacrifices can be appreciated. If they're given a
Right.
platform to be appreciated, if they are taught self love, self worth, if aspects of these can be sorted, even during like any uncertain times, they will know how to live cordially, because during that uncertain time they actually need a very good family support. Instead of fights, can you talk better? Instead of arguments, can you see these better? So these kind of potential opportunities can come in a life coach. As when somebody's a life coach, you can talk about anything under the sun and still be coached. So you can have a diverse opportunities being a life coach. And I think if you look at all my mentors, and you said 10, 15 years. So 10, 15 years, people are being expert and they reach that level. Right now, I think all of us are so, grateful. And, we have opportunities that's just there. There you have people to train you, you have people to coach you, mentor you. You have possibilities of, you want to, if your expertise on coaching, learn your morality well. Their team who can market for you, their team that can do social media managing for you. There are a lot of things available. Probably it was not available when you started. It was not there,
Mm.
like you said. So even for life coaching, things have become more easier. So the world has become easier for you to start your business. And when you have the potential opportunities and networking possibilities, that means, that means this industry is also getting that recognition that it wants. And Rahul, I believe when you started your coaching and when you started helping clients, you got a satisfaction, that
Hmm.
somebody is getting help, somebody is being
Right.
transformed. And that, I think, is the most greatest achievement for a coach, rather than, oh, how many sessions that person took, or what
Mm.
happened. It's the breakthroughs that makes us feel so
Right.
nice about it. Imagine you are a source of, for a person to help them navigate the struggle. That gives us a lot of joy, and a lot of, it makes us that the soul purpose is reached. We feel very soul aligned. So when you talk these words, it makes a lot of your inner peace. And when we are in a inner peace, and we are a little bit more emotionally empowered and in a higher elevated level, we will obviously attract people to come to our
Mm.
energy. More people, more we are higher, we'll attract more people. So when you have life, 1,000 people positive, you make it to 10,000, then 1 lakh. A lot of people who are in positive mindset, the world is going to be a much better place to live.
Beautiful. So, on that note, let's do one final important segment before we start to wrap for today. Now, this is the segment that we call the journey of mentors. So, walk us through who are some of your mentors who stand out the most for you, especially in your journey of becoming the coach that you are today. Who would you, and maybe briefly, if you can share with us not only their names, but of course, what about them, it's literally like they walked into your life, and that there was a shift that happened.
I'm very honored and humbled to mention all their names. I'm so grateful for their come into my life at the right time. They say the right time at the right place.
Mm.
You've heard that phrase. They've
Yeah.
all come at the right time at the right place for me. My first mentor, Pooja Puneet, just her energy, the way she engages us. And I'm in an advanced level, and I'm so fortunate that I get to meet her twice in a week. And just her presence and the way she
Mm.
explains everything to us and makes us believe that we are feel seen, heard, and non-judged. And anybody comes with a question, how humbly she answers, and that very experience itself is very surreal. And for me, already being a energetic person, I just needed to be with her 10 minutes to realize I'm already like her. I could resonate with her vibes. And all this while, it just feels I'm so blessed, to be guided by somebody who, whatever she's gone through in her life, and you resonate with her stories. There's a ton.
Mm.
Maybe express that thing.
Mm.
I can see myself grow. When she talks about, everybody goes through their struggles. being coached, and like she experienced also. I if I also
Mm,
experienced that, is normal then, So all of that, I have that experience with her.
mm,
She came into my life exactly when I told you when I lost my job, don't know what to do next. And when she said entrepreneurial journey, my bulba moment were like, okay, this is for me. I have to take it. So and that's her. And I think even if you give me even one more hour, I will keep talking about her. Talk about her, and then you have to have a couple of sessions, just an introductory session. The next person I would love to mention is Dr. Dhirendra Gautam. He's a pioneer for psycho-oncology coaching under a brand called UCF, and he is also somebody who is a well-established coach. Through his personal experience and personal interest, he termed this he to research and to research he
mm,
brought this concept of psycho onco coaching because personally he experienced something in his life and he felt that emotional burden needs coaching, and he was the one who coined a term called ladder framework. Stands for listen, A for analyze, first D is for doing, second D is for discovery, E is for experience, and R for results. And this framework actually helps how cancer patient can actually navigate through their any they face anything. And I just love how the concept fits and actually help people navigate or struggle in just that using the ladder frame.
mm,
And then the next mention person I would like to mention is Akash Garg. He is an expert in emotional freedom technique. And again, I love the way he engages the class, he's very energetic. And his way of teaching and way of mentoring is very simple. You can connect with what he says. And his classes, master classes, and his sessions are filled with people. He does a mass session, he does one to many, and every session, when you feel the emotions are released, you feel, oh wow, you feel that wow feeling. And in emotional technique, there's a technique where even if somebody do not want to share their emotional pain, there is a tactic where you can help that person release without you knowing what the
mm,
they will know, but we don't have to know. So it is so profound, it is so deep, and especially for cancer patient who coming to meet me,
right.
they don't want to tell me anything. They don't want to tell me anything. They still want to win the trust over me. I can still use this modality to say, I know you're going through something. Can you just tap on these measurement points and see if you're able to release that, what you're going through? I just have to I may need maximum 30 minutes to do this if I want to do in a full stretch, or even 10 minutes to even start how it can be magically applied in their life. And it works. How, for example, you know, many modalities, you have to change your mindset to see how it works. But with
Mm,
EFT, the current mindset, what the person is thinking currently, it can be a negative thought, can be a limiting belief, it can be anything, it can still work. That's why this technique is so profound and it is very simple, easy to understand, and because we tap on the energy meridian points. And EFT is one modality you can link with anything. You can link with
mm,
NLP, you can link with mind shifting thoughts, it can link with Reiki energy because that's all energy, right? You can link it for even if you don't want to talk about all this, you can link with money blockage because money also is energy. So it's got a wide range of application, and it's just tapping on 8 meridian points works wonders. It's like beautiful. And of course, when I wanted to learn about Akashi records, I had a lot of doubts because, being from India and we all believe in Garuda Purana and all of that, and I have profound interest in reading all of that. I was like, what is Akashi recording? Why should I go to something which I never heard in my life? But when I understood how deep and how what it brings to a soul clarity and into practical healing, I feel this one modality can help I can help with cancer patients address that very issue they're unable to tell it to me. They cannot tell me, but it can be addressed.
mm,
And they have this one chance, a choice to cleanse their soul, cleanse the karma that they're experiencing, and, end it now because you have one option to end it now. And if you're having a next birth, if you have a possibility to come back, your soul is actually getting cleansed by just you working on it. So it works so wonderful. And learning that actually gave me a lot of clarity and gave me understanding to myself why I chose this. Again, it's a soul decision. I have probably taken it when I was in soul plane. I want to get into this. And exactly when I see from that perception, you won't believe when I even started this, all my questions about all things happened in my life, had just one
Mm.
answer. I had taken the decision in my soul journey. That's how I'm experiencing all of that. And every struggle is exactly what I wanted to shape me into a better person, shape me into an
Mm.
evolved soul. So I got this clarity, and every time I'm talking about it, it interests me a lot. Probably it could be a topic which I might want to pursue to know more, because it gives a lot of clarity to anybody. Each one of these moralities and each one of my mentors have left a very strong imprint in my heart. And through me, their wisdom reaches to those I serve is something I'm looking forward for. And I believe that, again, when I say universe, they all, I was introduced to them or I came to know about them because I have a purpose to solve. And if it's true, my coaching journey, I'm able to transform and help a lot of people. And I'm using all of these methodologies.
Right.
Very simple. It just, all of these can blend very well because EFT can release the heaviness. NLP can reframe the story. Access bar or Reiki can restore the access bar is for neurological stress, and Reiki is for energy. Akasha recording can realign with the soul wisdom. And of course, your morning affirmations and your manifestations and your guided visualizations and meditations can always reinforce hope. So I just want to tell you, sir, how each of the moralities stands apart, but how I can blend it when I bring into coaching or coaching anybody for that matter.
Nice.
Together,
Awesome.
these create a loop: release, frame, restore, realign, reinforce. And that actually sets my coaching apart. And when you are looping all this to emotionally empower and transform somebody, along with the medical care, I think cancer patients can just find themselves transformed
Mm.
very organically and through them, within them, because transformation begins within them, right?
True. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that, Aishwarya. And like I said, the stories that we carry, they inspire us when we see that they were we were meant to receive it. Maybe not at the time when it was happening, but as we talked about at the beginning, it's always in hindsight when you connect the dots, when you join the dots, that you realize that you've been sent these miracles in your life, and you have not only acknowledged them, but now you're at that point where you're taking this out into the world and making your world a better place. So firstly, thank you for making the time to be here on our podcast, the I Hypnosis Life coaching journeys. And I really do wish you all the best. And may the coming years not only continue to guide you in your mission, your purpose, but also that may many, many more people be benefited by your energy, your enthusiasm, your passion, and your mission that you're diving into more and more each day. So once again, thank you for taking the time. And I must also say this for those of you who've not only been watching live, but you're here at this point of our podcast. There's obviously something very, very magical, very, very powerful in Dr. Aishwarya's presence, which is why you've, listened to this point. So obviously the links are shared in the description, so you can continue to follow Dr. Aishwarya on all the various channels that she posts regularly, and definitely reach out to her. Whether you are someone that is either going through or you have a family member who's dealing with cancer, regardless of what phase that you're in, because I know that she will definitely be able to guide you further on your journey. So a big thank you to each of you that's been listening till now. And once more, Dr. Aishwarya, thank you for your time and your insights, your presence, and your energy. I wish you all the very best. And lastly, of course, for everybody that's been here, that these stories that we curate, we make it a point to find guests who are already tapped into something much bigger than each of us, each of them. And these stories are designed to inspire you as a healer and as a coach to keep not only showing up, but keep doing the work, because you're meant for something much bigger than you and I even have a idea about, why we're here. So thank you once again. And we will, of course, be back with more stories, more podcasts, guests in the coming days. So as always, having said all of that, of course, remember to live your purpose. God bless. And of course, we'll be back with more. Right. So, Aishwarya, if you can just hang on for a quick second, I will close our live streamings. And okay, so with that, one more time, thank you for being on our podcast, the Hypnosis Life Coaching Journeys, and wish you all the best, Dr. Ayswarya, on your journey. Right? Awesome. So with that, we will end this pod and we will be back with
Thank you, Rahul.